Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JZ Courtside, coming at y'all today on Tuesday, December 2nd. I cannot believe, yesterday I said it was December 1st and it just didn't sink in. But can y'all believe we're in the last month of 2025? This year has sucked. I got to be honest, 2025 was not one of my favorite years I've lived through. Lots of changes, lots of poop just scattered around everywhere, all this political BS. So I'm glad that we can all come through and hang out and just talk basketball, distract ourselves from all the everyday bullshit. It's gonna get, I'm not even monetized on YouTube. No problem. I can swear. It's fine. And just get away from all of that. We can all just hang out and relax. And just talk basketball, because you know what stays true in the midst of all of this chaos and poop? Basketball. Basketball will be basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, today's podcast is going to be somewhat of a simple one. We're going to start today off by talking about Anthony Davis. The Chicago Bulls have emerged as the number one trade destination for Anthony Davis. That's right, in the big 2025, man. Anthony freaking Davis. And then we're going to break down the games from last night. And quite frankly, I didn't need another segment after that. You guys know whenever I break down a game or two, we usually move on to another segment like, factor cap, true or false, is this good, up or down, like all of those stuff, right? Today we don't need that, because the games last night, we got a lot of topics to discuss, y'all. We got a lot of topics to discuss and to overreact to. All right. So before we get into all of this, guys, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. We haven't had a 5-star rating or review in over a month. So if you are listening or you're watching live, be sure to go leave a 5-star rating or review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Again, we live stream all of these episodes Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So if you want to get involved in the interactive podcast that we do that nobody else does, be sure to tune into the Twitch stream, which is JZ Uncut, or the YouTube JZ Courtside, or the TikTok JZ Uncut. All the links that you'll need will be in the show notes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into our first segment. Anthony Davis is emerging the Chicago Bulls are emerging as the number one trade destination for Anthony Davis. In 2025, the Chicago Bulls are in talks of bringing the 32-year-old, soon to be 33, 6'10" power forward who weighs 253 pounds, 13th year in the league, one-time champ, 10-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, who is averaging, through his injuries this year, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks, 30 minutes a game, 54% from the field, and 31% from deep. Anthony Davis in 2025. Now, I'm going to bring you a couple points of discussion as to why I think it's a good trade for the Chicago Bulls, why I think it's a good trade for the Dallas Mavericks, and why I think it'll be a good idea for a third team to get involved for the Bulls' sake. Now, I know you guys are thinking, JZ, you're telling me the Bulls are smart for wanting to trade for a 32-year-old, soon to be 33, injury-prone power forward? Why is that a good thing, JZ? Well, let me explain. The Chicago Bulls have no direction as a franchise. In fact, there's only one team that have less of a direction of the Chicago Bulls, and it's the Chicago Bulls of the West, the Sacramento Queens. So if they have no direction, does that mean by trading for Anthony Davis, all of a sudden they will gain a direction? No. So you're probably wondering, why do I think it's a good trade for the Chicago Bulls? Oh, well, it's quite simple, actually. It's because the owner only cares about money. Money. That's it. He cares about filling seats, putting some behinds in those seats in the arena, and that's all he cares about. So if that's all he cares about, then Anthony Davis is a great face to bring in some fans. But what about winning? JC, do you think they'll be a good team? No. Because in this trade package to match Anthony Davis's contract, they would probably have to combine a Josh Giddey, who they're not going to trade, a Kobe White, Montez Buzelis, something. And they got a lot of first-round picks. So first-round picks as well. Picks of their own and picks of others. So when you want to trade a Buzelis, when you want to trade a Kobe White, when you want to trade these first-round picks for Anthony Davis in 2025, yeah, Vooch would probably be going as well, but probably to a third team. I can't help but think the Chicago Bulls franchise may as well not even be in the league anymore because they're just following path of what the Sacramento Kings do. And now you look at the Sacramento Kings and here we go. They're about to have a fire sale after December 15th. Once they can trade contracts that they signed over the summer, the Kings are about to blow it all up. The Bulls are following the same trajectory. They want to have 1, 2 good years just to sell tickets, and then we'll deal with it later. Because right now, in case you guys don't know, the Bulls started the season 5-0. And I got a lot of flack when I said that this Bulls 5-0 is fake. Well, ever since their 5-0 start, the Bulls now fall below 500. They fall to the 10th seed, barely clinging to dear life in the play-in tournament, and they are 9-10. 9-11 now, I think. They just lost last night. Are they not? Yeah, they're 9-11. 9-11. They've lost 5 out of their last 6 games. The Chicago Bulls this year, if they plan on trading for a 32, almost 33-year-old Anthony Davis, one thing will be for sure. This franchise does not care about bringing another championship to the city of Chicago. If they make this trade, this franchise doesn't care about remaining in the play-in for the rest of eternity. But it's good because they'll be selling tickets, guys. That's all they care about. They'll be selling that overpriced popcorn. They'll be selling $14 beers. They'll be selling pizza and nachos and deep dish. And they'll have Anthony Davis, who will sell some tickets in the few games that he plays for them. So if you want to bury a franchise, go for it. At least he'll sell you some tickets. At least you'll be guaranteed to make the play-in for the next 3 years. So if that's their goal, Chicago, go for it, man. Now, obviously, this does not need to be told from the Dallas Mavericks POV, right? I think we all can agree that the Dallas Mavericks should be trading Anthony Davis, correct? I think we all are in agreement to that. I don't think anybody, even Mavs fans included, especially Mavs fans included, want to move away from Anthony Davis because at this point as well, Mark Cuban was just given back the hands to make these, to be a part of these deals, right? So when you look at the Dallas Mavericks, they just want to clean their hands free of the Luka Doncic trade. And the only way to do so is by getting rid of the guy that you traded for Luka. Okay? Not just that. Anthony Davis is still a serviceable big man. And the craziest part about this is, and you might laugh when I say this, the Chicago Bulls are going to get more for Anthony Davis than the Lakers got for Luka Doncic. Again, they traded Luka Doncic. They traded Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. They barely got anything in return for Luka Doncic. So you bet your biscuits when they trade Anthony Davis, they'll be getting a pretty good package. Listen, Anthony Davis can still hoop. His only thing is health right now. Can he stay healthy? Can he carry a team into the play-in? We all know Anthony Davis is capable of that, especially in the East. They fired Nico Harrison, and now they're trying to get rid of the last remaining pieces that were involved in that Luka Doncic trade to just clean their hands. Unfortunately for Anthony Davis, wherever he goes, he's not going to propel. Like, think about it this way. If he gets traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? they're better. They are significantly better. If he gets traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, they are significantly better. But if you trade Anthony Davis to a poverty franchise, and I hate calling the great city of Chicago poverty, but that's what they've been. If you trade Anthony Davis to a poverty franchise, they're not going to get significantly better. They're going to just get good enough to barely make the play-in. I'll be talking about the Mavericks as a team in a bit because we have a lot of games that I want to cover in this episode because last night's games were very entertaining. But I love this comment that Jaden just said in my Twitch stream. Jaden, I want to say that I want to read your message out loud for everybody. This is why I love doing these episodes, by the way. This is why I love doing these podcasts live, because we get to interact with viewers, right? I think it's a bit fun. So Jaden said he doesn't raise the ceiling of many franchises. For a poverty franchise, he's more of a floor raiser. He's just the face to sell tickets, Jaden. That's all it is. That's all it is. Anthony Davis, I love you, man. I think he's a very, very good player. I think he's had a great career. And unfortunately, injuries are just going to be his plague. Getting sent to Chicago is pretty much a death sentence at this point. I mean, he's still putting up the numbers, but as far as the numbers that he's not putting up is games played. And, you know, a team like the Chicago Bulls needs a player like this because they need a face of their franchise. And unfortunately, Josh Giddey is not really selling tickets the way they want because they have lost 5 out of their last 6 games. I'm going to go ahead and move on from the hypothetical trades with Anthony Davis. But again, I think talking about teams like the Chicago Bulls, like the Sacramento Kings, you know, the Chicago Bulls are just like, they have a couple future pieces like Amantas Buzelis, like their 12th round pick who they're not playing at all. And they actually have some first round picks in the years coming soon. Unfortunately for the other team, Sacramento Kings out west, is they just don't have any draft capital. They don't have any empty cap space for any other players. So the Sacramento Kings are blowing it up after December 15th before the trade deadline. The Chicago Bulls are trying to just build what they can to guarantee that they're going to make the play-in, at least this year, at least next year. So Chicago, if that's your goal, man, it's a W trade for you guys, man. You want the play-in? You'll get the play-in with Anthony Davis. Go for it. We will be talking about the Mavericks a bit later because there are a lot of topics that I do want to discuss. But let's move on to our first. Guys, you guys know me. I normally have a bunch of segments that I want to talk about. They're fun, right? We break down like 2 important games from last night, and then we do a nice segment like true or false or up or down. But last night's NBA was incredibly entertaining, and I want to talk about the games from last night, man. Heat culture is so back. Heat culture has never been more back. Heat Nation, you guys deserve this. After what the one who shall not be named, what he did to you guys last year, you guys deserve this. I'm saying this from a Pistons fan. You know, Pistons and Heat don't get along. But as a Pistons fan, as a basketball fan number one, I respect game, man. I respect game. And my God, do the Heat have it. 24 3-pointers last night. 24 3-pointers on 52% shooting from deep. Are you kidding me? The Clippers, the score, I believe, was 45-46 in the second quarter. And then the Heat rattled off a 30-2 run. You cannot make this up, man. And what's funny is when you look at these stats, if you just box score watched, you understand why the Heat won. It's just the 24 3-pointers. But look at the free throws. The Heat do not play good defense, right? They're giving up 35 free throws to the Los Angeles Clippers. That's the only reason why they were still in the game in the first place, right? That's the only reason. Because if they're hitting 24 threes, there's no reason this should even have been a close game, right? Rebounds were even. They killed them in assists. That's what the Miami Heat does best, is they swing the ball right now. And quite frankly, with Tyler Hero returning, this number is incredibly crucial to you guys, man. If you're a Heat fan, you should be paying attention to the assist numbers every single night. Every single night, you need to be paying attention. to their assist numbers. I have a guy in the TikTok telling me that they are top 5 in defense. They are bottom, I guess they're top 19 in defense. So you were close. You said they were top 5 in defense. They are top 5. Or sorry, they were top 19 in defense. So yes, I am right. They do not play defense. But speaking of last night, the Miami Heat right now are doing exactly what people sort of wanted now, right? Because if you're looking at this team, let's say you're looking at this team from an unbiased eye like me, right? If you see the Los Angeles Clippers and Kawhi Leonard dropping 36 points, Zubac 16 points, 13 rebounds, Chris Dunn 12 points, James Harden 11 points, didn't have a good game, John Collins 10 points, right? And you look at all of this, right? If you just flip the page and look at this, almost every single starter scored at least 20 points per game. Or sorry, last night. Andrew Wiggins has been the unsung hero of the Miami Heat, right? Bam Adebayo, 27 points, 14 rebounds. Great game. Great game. Norman Powell, Big Norm, 30 points in his revenge game, 12 for 18. He hit 6 threes. 22 points for Tyler Hero. I think something to pay attention to is that Davion Mitchell had the ball in his hands a lot last night, 12 assists, right? The thing about the Miami Heat is they are such an offense-oriented team. To see them score 140 points but also give up 123 to a poverty Clippers team is very telling. Because I'm not sure if you guys watched this game, right? I don't know if you guys watched this game last night. But from what I saw, when the Clippers pulled their starters a minute into the third quarter, a minute, this it just goes to show you how offensive oriented the Miami Heat truly are. Because against the Pistons, just on Saturday, they allowed the Pistons to score 140 points. You guys understand the Pistons are one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA? I'm a Pistons fan. They don't shoot threes well, right? At all. They're a bottom 5 team in three-pointers made. And yet they allowed the Pistons to just bulldoze their way into the paint. Because the Pistons are also number 1 in points in paint scoring this season. So the Miami Heat have pretty good perimeter defense. And I think that's where they get most of their defensive rating, is because of the perimeter defense. But they do not watch the paint. And that's probably because they're relying on Bam Adebayo to be their primary paint guard, like defender. When Khalil Ware is on the court, he alters shots, but he doesn't really block shots, if that makes sense. He averages just over 1 block a game. I think they need another big personally. I see people in the TikTok agree with me. So shout out the TikTok chat. I think what the Miami Heat low-key need is, I think, my opinion, right, as a non-Heat fan, I love the minutes of Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware, but nights like last night where the Clippers aren't playing Brook Lopez, you don't need Khalil Ware in there when other teams are playing small. Khalil Ware does good against like a Vucevic, right? He does good against a Donovan Clingan, right? He does good against a Miles Turner. That's where Khalil Ware is good at. But against the Jalen Duren, he suffers. Against a Isaiah Stewart, he suffers. Against big, brolic centers and power forwards, he really struggles. And I think his biggest flaw is consistency. And yeah, exactly. My Twitch chat just said Ware's inconsistent. And I fully agree. I'd like to give a special shout out to everybody who is leaving the YouTube stream or leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. Big shout out to my boy Grain. Grain, I appreciate you for coming through to the Twitch stream, my boy. In case you guys also want to join us over here, we have like a sports center situation over here. That's where I read the most chat messages to make it an interactive episode. The link is in my bio, TikTok, or just go to Twitch and look up Jay-Z Uncut. So I don't want to talk too much about the Miami Heat. I do want to talk about what's wrong with the Clippers, and I think we can all agree to that, right? The Los Angeles Clippers came into the year guaranteed a playoff spot, and at worst, a play-in spot. I had the Clippers as a play-in spot, so like I don't feel good about a team suffering, of course, but I feel good about where I estimated them going into the year. I said health is going to be the number 1. I said pace is going to be the number 1. And so far, everything I've said has come to fruition. They are 25th in points. They are 26th in rebounds. They are 28th in assists, 27th in field goals made, 21st in three-pointers made. When you watch this team, I just get depressed. I just get so damn sad. Because James Harden can prove valuable to another team. Kawhi Leonard can prove. I would never want Kawhi Leonard on my team personally. I don't know about you guys, but I would never want Kawhi Leonard on my team. James Harden at this point is still doing way too much than what he should. I think James Harden could be 6th man of the year for the next 5 years if he truly wanted to. If he just admitted to just coming off the bench, I think he can be genuinely a 6th man for a championship contending team for the next 5 years in the NBA. I don't think he should be shouldering as much weight as he's doing right now in Los Angeles. The way that the Clippers play is very weird. If you guys remember, I compared this team to the Orlando Magic for a couple reasons. Not because of like play style, a little bit because of their offensive function, right? The Orlando Magic were struggling with Paolo, Desmond Bane, and Franz Wagner because essentially their offense looked like, okay, Franz, your turn. Paolo, your turn. Bane, your turn. And they would just ISO every single possession, and it wasn't working. Paolo gets hurt. Now the ball's swinging, and the Magic are winning. The Clippers are interesting because James Harden is trying to set people up for assists, set people up for buckets almost every time, but nobody's hitting shots. So James Harden has to take that shouldering on his own. Kawhi Leonard, every single possession ends up in an ISO. If the ball goes into Kawhi Leonard's hand, you're not getting an assist. This team is depressing. This team is very, very depressing to watch. And if you guys have watched any minutes, like I have, of the Los Angeles Clippers, the reason why they keep losing games is because they have zero identity. They have lost 5 straight. They've lost 6 out of their last 7. Unfortunately, for the Los Angeles Clippers, I think it's time. And I don't even know how you can blow this up. Can I be honest? I don't know how you can blow this up. They're too old. My Twitch chat, Josh just said, save it for the playoffs. They're not even going to make the play in. I mean, they can if they turn it around. I think the only players I feel for on this team is James Harden, Chris Paul, and Ivica Zubac, because those guys, I mean, they can do what they do on any team. You know what I'm saying? They can do what they do on any team, and right now they're shouldering way too much weight. All right. I don't really want to talk about the Clippers all that much. It just puts me in a bad mood. We're going to move on to our next game of the night. I see a lot of the same comments in the TikTok. This website is StatMuse. StatMuse. All right. If you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. I'm sure you guys would enjoy it very, 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 very much over here. Let's move on to, the Pistons won again, man. The Pistons won again. Let's move on. This game, don't even look at the stats right now because the Pistons. Okay, I'll just show you this. This was a defensive slugfest, man. This was a defensive slugfest. Neither team broke 100 points. Watching this game felt like an early 2000s game. I kid you not. It felt like it, man. The Pistons hit 5 threes. Bro, 5 threes in 2025. The Hawks made 14. Just that stat alone, you would think the Hawks won this, right? Let me show you another stat. 23 turnovers for the Detroit Pistons, and they won this game. They hit 9 less threes. So the Hawks had 27 more points from downtown. And the Pistons gave it up 23 times. When you look at this is why I don't like box score watchers, bro. Because if you look at these stats, there's no reason the Pistons can win this. But the Pistons out-grit this team, bro. They out-grit this team. When you see the energy on the defensive glass, on the offensive glass, the Pistons had 30 more rebounds than the Atlanta Hawks. This was a bad game for Cade Cunningham. This was not a good game. But when you look at what he does off the ball on defense, that is why that Pistons fans will tell you that Cade Cunningham is a top 3 point guard now. Because when you watch him, if he's not touching the ball, he is proving serviceable on the other end. If he's not having to exert himself offensively like he was last night, they had the best perimeter defense I've seen in the NBA this year so far. Nickeil Alexander-Walker chasing Cade around. Jalen Johnson chasing Cade around. Dyson Daniels chasing Cade around. When you have these prolific perimeter defenders around Cade Cunningham, hounding him at the perimeter, and he's still bringing it, doing these sorts of things. Let me just read you these stats from Cade. He only had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 steals, and 3 blocks. Like, what? Your star point guard is finishing the game with 6 steals and 3 blocks? No other point guard is doing that in the NBA right now. I'm not going to throw shade at any other point. No other point guard is doing this consistently like Cade Cunningham has done this year. Nate, I'd like to give you a special shout out for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you, baby. Thank you. Somebody doing it on both ends like that is very, very rare. Shai does play defense, absolutely. That's not to deny Shai. That's why I said Cade Cunningham is a top 3. Okay. So when we look at the rest of this game, right, I'd like to show you Jalen Duren. He like crawled his way to the stat line. He did not have an aggressive game whatsoever, and yet he still ended up with 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 for 12 from the field. Now, I would like to just show you as well, Cade Cunningham, right, while he was being hounded, only had 8 assists. This was all without Duncan Robinson. So the Atlanta Hawks resorted to playing zone. They had no shooting. The Pistons had 5 threes in the entire night. Dennis Jenkins, our two-way player who's been playing absolutely out of his mind, shot 3 for 16. Worst game of his NBA career. Tobias Harris, 2 for 14 after just dropping 26 points Saturday in Miami. So 2 of our starters, I mean, one's a third string point guard, but he's been good. He shot 3 for 16, and then Tobias 2 for 14. I don't know how the Pistons managed to win this game, but I'll tell you how. It's because of Ausar Thompson. It's because of Ron Holland. It's because of Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart, 6 points, 10 rebounds, 5 blocks. Ron Holland, he's erupting. He's getting past his second-year slump, his sophomore slump. Great game in Miami on Saturday, and then he follows it up with 17 minutes, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 6 for 8 shooting. Ron Holland. Jaden Ivey, I'm worried. That's all I'll say. I don't want to talk about Jaden Ivey. 0 for 4 when he was on the court. I don't want to talk about Jaden Ivey. He doesn't look like Jaden Ivey. On the other side, man, Jalen Johnson's a superstar. I think I'm ready to say that once he can lead this team into the playoffs. Jalen Johnson is an incredible talent. My Lord, I love watching this guy play. 29 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. He's a walking triple-double. I love Jalen Johnson. I'll skip past that next name, right? Onyeka Okongwu had, I think, 18 points in the first half. He finished at 20. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was my number 1 target I wanted the Pistons to get in the offseason. He was my number 1 target. I said the Pistons should go all in on Nickeil Alexander-Walker. If you can't get him, get Naz Reid. They didn't get either of them. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been averaging 20-some points per game. He's had back-to-back 30-point nights. He scored 30 against the Pistons last time we played him 2 weeks ago, and he dropped 26 points here. Clutch in the fourth quarter. Dyson Daniels does everything defensively. He had 4 steals. He's a great passer, but unfortunately, he's a black hole on offense. And then they had no bench production whatsoever at all. No bench production. So that's what did the Atlanta Hawks in. The Pistons right now are proving to themselves that they can win these ugly games. That's what they're doing. They're proving that they can win these ugly games while still being top 5 defensively and top 3 in rebounding. Their only issue here now is without Duncan. Even with Duncan Robinson, they're a bottom 5 NBA team at 3-point percentage, right? And 3-point attempts. They need another shooter. So Malik Beasley needs to get cleared off his investigation stuff. They need Malik Beasley back. And he said he's going to sign with the Pistons as soon as he's cleared, if he gets cleared. Okay. They need another shooter in Malik Beasley. Not just that. They need another ball handler because last night, Dennis Jenkins wasn't great. He showed that he's a 2-way player, right? I love his confidence, but his shot just wasn't falling. I think it will work. I think it'll work out with Dennis Jenkins. But as far as Jaden Ivey goes, I'm concerned. I don't want to say anything I might regret. He hasn't played basketball in 11 months. I will be a little bit more patient for a little bit longer. I want to respond to this comment in the Twitch chat. My boy Newsom said they should have kept Schroeder. Absolutely not. No. Because Schroeder got 30-some million from the Sacramento Kings, being the amazing franchise that we're so used to them being. That's not in the budget for a backup point guard, especially one of Dennis Schroeder's caliber. And, We need more playmaking and shot creators, and Dennis Schroeder's great at that. But Karis LeVert has done his thing for the Pistons. He looks great one night, looks awful the other. That's why you have a Jaden Ivey. That's why you have a Dennis Jenkins to pick up the slack that he leaves off. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Let's move on. I don't want to waffle too long on that topic because this is going to be a long episode. Now, I want to talk about some teams here. I kind of grouped everybody up together because there were a bunch of upsets last night. So there were upsets in Washington, Los Angeles, Utah, and Denver. So let's get right into it. Let me actually take a sip of coffee first. The Phoenix Suns come into town, come into Los Angeles, and blow the Lakers out of the water, especially in that second quarter. That was a sight to see. I didn't stay up to see the second half, but I did watch the condensed highlights. Dillon Brooks had 16 points in the second quarter. Dillon Brooks. Yeah, I mean, stat-wise, it was somewhat even, except for two stats alone, bro. 35 assists, and the Suns had 16 steals. You're reading that correctly. 35 assists for the Suns and 16 steals. Bro, the Lakers had 1 steal and no blocks. I said it yesterday. I was talking about the Lakers yesterday. I'm sure you all remember, right? I was talking about the Lakers yesterday. I said their only fault here is defense. And, well, here you go. No defense. No defense. I agree with a comment in the TikTok chat. LeBron is not game ready yet. He's not game ready. Bro, just to keep his double-digit scoring streak going, he hit a 3 and then got subbed out immediately in a blowout. They just have no defense right now, man. Rui, 0 points. DeAndre and 12 and 9. You know, they weren't the faults. They weren't the reasoning as to why they sucked. Austin Reeves, lowest scoring total I've seen almost all season, 16 points. Luka did his thing as he always does, 38 points. He was going crazy in the first half, and they had no bench. They had no bench help, really. But when you look at the Suns, Dillon Brooks, 33 points, right? Royce O'Neal had 11 assists. Mark Williams, I mean, he's just showing every day what the Lakers missed out on. Devin Booker went out of the game early. So mind you, the Suns were without Devin Booker. They were without Grayson Allen. They were without Jalen Green and Nick Richards. They're missing a lot. And they still put BTA to the Los Angeles Lakers because Colin Gillespie had 28 points. And then they asked him after the game, Colin, it's a pretty good game, right? And you know what Colin Gillespie said? I don't like doing that. They said, doing what? He said, shooting that much. I don't like doing that. And they said, but dude, they needed points. He's like, yeah, I mean, if my team needs me to do that, I'll do it, but I just don't like doing that. And it's like, wow. Talk about culture change, man. Talk about culture change. You get rid of Kevin Durant and his rain cloud that follows him. You get rid of Bradley Beal. You pay him to leave. And you insert culture guys like Dillon Brooks, like Mark Williams, like Nick Richards, like Jordan Goodwin, man, like Colin Gillespie, like Grayson Allen. And suddenly Royce O'Neal, everybody, Ryan Dunn. The list goes on. I love the Phoenix Suns. Their over-under for the year was 31.5. I picked them on the over because I could not see Devin Booker falling under 31 wins again. Dillon Brooks has truly evolved. I thought he was just an annoying MF who would just talk back when he was in Memphis. And that was true. But all of a sudden this year, man, I mean, obviously from last year, the shooting was still there, but I wasn't aware of his shot creation at all. I was not aware for that. Yeah, Brooks got them boys playing defense, and they really, really do, man. The Phoenix Suns are one of the most fun teams to watch in the NBA. I hope Devin Booker's okay. This is all without Grayson Allen as well, who's one of their better players. And then Jalen Green, bro, Jalen Green, I thought he was good, man. I hope his hamstring gets better because I'm rooting for Jalen Green. I know, I'm a Pistons fan. I'm supposed to hate Jalen Green. I love Jalen Green. So I pray that he does get better. I think so as well. It looks like Dillon Brooks has been working with Booker in the lab because that mid-range as well, that shot creation is just beautiful. Grayson Allen's been having a great year. Unfortunately, he was missing this game. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the Grizzlies collapsed after they got rid of Dylan Brooks. I hope I'm not like underestimating this or undermining this team in any which way, man, because it's a beautiful thing, man. Dylan Brooks is a walking culture. He is a walking culture. I think you can throw Dylan Brooks on any team. He's going to bring you that dog energy. If there's a player, there's like two players I want on the Pistons that I know we'll never have. Two. You guys, I want to give you guys like 20 seconds to just guess who you think those two players are around the NBA. One's pretty obvious because we're talking about him right now. But who's the other? There's two players in the NBA that I just wish the Pistons could have that would just add more energy to the team. People are saying, the Twitch chat just said, you're a Pistons fan? I would have never guessed. While I wait for you guys to tell me those two people that I think I would love for the Pistons to have, I'm going to say thank you to BroBro18 for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you a lot, bro. TikTok is guessing. What? Oh my God, TikTok nailed it. Wait, who said that? Suggs. Marcus Doss, shout out to you in the TikTok stream because it is Dylan Brooks and Jalen Suggs. Those are the two players around the entire. That's a tough guess. You got to be an avid listener if you're guessing that because we haven't even talked about the Magic this episode. I want Jalen Suggs and Dylan Brooks as a Piston. Those are just like my ideal players. You might ask why Suggs, and you just asked. They're culture changers. They play hard every game, and that's what the Pistons demand out of their players. You look at their superstar point guard, and he's playing on both ends, aggressive on offense and defense. If he doesn't have it offensively, he's bringing it defensively. You have Ron Holland, just Isaiah Stewart, guys who come off the bench and just inject energy onto the court. You have Asar Thompson, who is defending from 95 feet up. And then you look at Jalen Suggs, who can be a pick and pop, who can be somewhat of a facilitator if asked to be, right? Those kinds of players would just inject energy. I think if you were to have like a guy like a Dylan Brooks or a Jalen Suggs on the Detroit, I mean, it would just be incredible. I don't like Jalen Suggs as a ball handler. You're right. You're right. I do not like him as a ball handler, but he's a great pick and pop. He's great at off-ball screens. That kid's a dog, man. I love players that just make an impact on the game. Shout out the TikTok chat. Shout out the Twitch chat. You guys are just absolute beauties. That's like my favorite archetype in the NBA. There's a reason Ben Wallace is one of my favorite players of all time. It's because no matter what night, you play it like it's your last. That's my favorite archetype. Like, I'm not sure what Ron Holland is going to be good at in the NBA, right? I'm not sure what Ron Holland is going to bring in his long NBA career. But the reason I can say long NBA career is because he has that charisma. He has that energy. And that's what I like. Bro came into the Twitch stream and said their leadership would just bring the team together. I absolutely agree. These guys are culture changers. Let's move on to our next game, y'all. We have another upset. Yeah, like people like Ron Holland, Jalen Suggs, they'll always have a job in the NBA. Because if you're forced to just be a catch and shoot guy, you can do that because that means defensively you're going to be a dog no matter what. Let's go ahead and move on to the Dallas and Denver game where Denver looked sort of like, I hate to say it, the Miami Heat. No defense. I'm talking in the paint. They allowed Dallas to just route them, man. Dallas looked dangerous this game. And can we just be honest real quick? I think Cooper Flagg just snatched Con Knippel's chain. Cooper Flagg is evolving right now, y'all. He is evolving. Let me just give you a couple stats, okay? And then you can listen to me. And I don't want to be one of those guys that overreact from one game. Let me just explain. I'm gonna defend Denver's reasoning for their loss, but first I want to give credit where credit is due, and that's to an 18-year-old in Dallas. Cooper Flagg, for his first 10 games in the NBA, was averaging 14 points on 40% shooting. In his last 15 games, he is averaging 24 points on 51% shooting. The kid has figured it out. Watching Cooper Flagg is so much fun, y'all. I highly recommend y'all to watch Cooper Flagg. I know this sounds like super basic of me as a content creator to tell you to watch the undisputed rookie generational talent. Guys, please watch Cooper Flagg. First quarter, it's like, this guy reminds me so much, and I know you guys hate when I say this, but Cade Cunningham and Jason Tatum. because there's no other comparison I can think of except a hybrid of the two. Okay. Now, hear me out. Jason Tatum, when he was only 19, right? Only 19. There's one thing that Tatum was super good at, right? And it was, he wasn't that good of a player, but throughout the games, Tatum would figure it out a little bit more each and every game. It's like he would get better after each game, but also get better throughout the game. Okay? Cade Cunningham, even now, starts surveying the defense in the first half, and then in the second half, lights them up. There's a reason Cade Cunningham leads the league right now in fourth quarter points. Cooper Flagg is low-key starting to look like a hybrid between a Jason Tatum and a Cade Cunningham. I think his passing game obviously will improve. He's a rookie. It's tough, right? But something that Cooper just is getting really good at is surveying the floor. Not to pass, but to, let's see, how can I get a bucket here? Right? Because right now he doesn't really have a go-to move, but what he likes doing is getting the defender behind him, getting that shoulder into him, and then just shooting right over him because he's 6'10". You're not going to block him. You might be able to contest him, but you might foul him as well. Cooper Flagg has started to low-key get better each and every game. And with Nico Harrison gone now, and with Anthony Davis probably going to get traded as well, you're starting to like see something form here. He's doing what he can with all the dysfunction and injuries out there. Shout out Newsome in the Twitch stream. That's a great comment. Now, I want to say this. The Nuggets only lost because Ryan Nembhard decided to look like playoff Nembhard from the Pacers, right? 28 points on 12 for 14 shooting. It's the NBA, y'all. This is why, like, no matter what, when the Pistons were on that win streak and people were saying, oh, they only played half playoff teams, it's like, this is still the NBA, right? And last night proved just how the NBA will always continue to NBA, because these are all professional basketball players, y'all. Any night a player could go crazy. Any night a player could play like butt, right? And last night it was Ryan Nembhard's time, and that's what happens. These are all professional athletes. And yes, the Nuggets are missing Christian Brown. They're missing Aaron Gordon. And their defense sucks. Their defense is not good. Their defense is not looking good. They had Spencer Jones go for 28 points. He's getting the Christian Brown effect. Or sorry, not the Christian Brown effect. The Aaron Gordon effect, where he's being left open and he was hitting a shot, so he did his thing. Jokic, we know he got another triple-double. In fact, he had 29 points, 20 rebounds, and 13 assists, but nobody's talking about that because they're all used to it, right? I think I'm not too worried about the Nuggets, but they do need to figure it out without Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon, because they low-key need to save those boys for the playoffs right now, because Aaron Gordon needs to get back nice and healthy for them to make any sort of run. I don't think you should rush him back in the regular season. Aaron Gordon's going to Aaron Gordon. He's nice anyways, right? And that's what I love as well, bro. I want to shout out bro on the Twitch stream right now. He said, once Kyrie's back, I bet him and Flagg can develop good chemistry with each other. And I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about hypotheticals here. I'm not a big hypothetical guy. And you know, all I can say right now is the Magic are fine with Cooper Flagg. And I think they just need to get whatever they can for Anthony Davis and then see what you have with Kyrie Irving at the start of next year. I don't think you should rush him back. There's no reason for that to happen, right? So Mavericks upset. I also want to give another special shout out to the man, Klay Thompson. Klay, I love you, man. People piss me off, especially when they talk about Klay Thompson, right? Now, hear me out. Every single year for the last 10 years, this is a real statistic. Y'all can look it up. Every single season for the last 10 seasons, Klay Thompson has started every year off slow. Yet people just say he's washed. It's over. Klay's done for. He sucks. Bro, we do this every year. Every year. Klay always has a slow start. And then he slowly but surely, after it hits like the quarter mark in the NBA, he starts playing better. And then he hits another slump. But he always gets right. Now, unfortunately for Klay, age is a real thing. He's not going to stay the prime Klay Thompson. To call him washed is insane. I would not say Klay Thompson's washed. He's 35 years old. he's playing against Father Time right now. His 3-point percentage is back up to 35%. And I think by the end of this year, it's going to be around 37, 38%. The unfortunate part of Klay Thompson's game right now is that there's no gravity that's leaving him open. Almost his entire career, he had the gravity of Steph Curry. He had the gravity of Kevin Durant. And now when he came to the Mavericks, he had the gravity of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Well, now he's got the gravity of nobody. And he's unfortunately not getting open shots like he was. And that's why I look at Duncan Robinson and say, we need another shooter. We need another shooter because right now Duncan Robinson is just he can't get open. So Duncan has like low key perfected just this leaner, not set shot fadeaway three. And the same thing's happening right now with Klay. He's not taking the shots that he wants to be taking. He's taking with the shots that he just has to take. Oh yeah, I don't think it's over for Klay. I think it's just, he's still a solid player. It's just you guys are expecting too much out of a 35-year-old sharpshooter. That's all. I saw those rumors as well, Sam. I'd like to read Sam's comment from the Twitch stream. He said there was some Twitter rumors saying that he could go to the Lakers. And like you said, the gravity of the big three, he could fit perfectly. I don't want Klay on the Lakers. The Lakers have no defense as is. What they're missing right now is DFS from last year. They're really missing Dorian Finney-Smith. And once the Rockets get him, they'll be looking even scarier as well. Let's go ahead and move on to another upset. The Utah Jazz beating the Houston Rockets. Again, this is one of those games where if you just box score, you'd be wondering how this happened. It's not that simple to understand, to be honest. Keontae George went off for 28 points. Lauri Markkanen, 29 points. This game was insane. If you guys watched it, I watched the fully condensed highlights of the second half because obviously I fell asleep. Just watching this game, it tells you all you need to know by looking at the bench. The bench played immaculate for the Utah Jazz. I love the Jazz. They're a fun team. They're a really fun team. This is all without Taylor Hendricks and Walker Kessler, Gorgui Niang, who I got compared to in my adult basketball league. Amen Thompson had a good game, stats-wise. Kevin Durant, not an efficient night for him, right? Jabari Smith, one of his worst games since the first games of the season. 31 points, 8 rebounds, 14 assists for Alperen Şengün, Mini Jokic. Reed Shepherd had a horrible defensive night. Not a good offensive night either. Aaron Holiday, horrible game, 3 for 10. Tate, he did his thing, but then Clint Capella, Josh Okogie, not a good game, man. This was not a good game. I think right now what the Rockets need, and it was quite apparent last night, is a point guard. They need a point guard, man. I know Fred VanVleet went down. They need a point guard. I don't know if you guys are watching these Rockets games, but they are low-key. Amen Thompson gets gassed by the end of the game. He's not really doing what he does all game. He starts off hot, and then once it's the fourth quarter, he starts to look gassed. And it's because he's moving at 1,000,000 miles per hour, right? This is because they're missing Torrey Eason and because they're missing Fred VanVleet. Amen does not need to be playing 40 minutes in a regular season game. He does not need to be doing that. And then Kevin Durant, obviously, he's doing his thing in the regular season. We'll see what happens when the playoffs come. It's a long season for a reason, y'all. It is a long season for a reason. So there's no reason to overreact over anything. They need a point guard. I think they got to make it somewhat of a small trade for something. They just need something. They just need something because offensively, this team is good for stretches and horrible for stretches. And that can all be cured with a point guard, sort of like the Timberwolves. Almost exactly like the Timberwolves. Except they don't have the rebounding like the Rockets do. And I think they got out-rebounded without Steven Adams, right? Yeah, by 6. So not something, or not by 4. So nothing significant. What I really don't like is playing Kevin Durant for 40 minutes. I don't like any of this. Alperen Şengün, 38 minutes. Jabari Smith Jr., 37 minutes. Kevin Durant, 40 minutes. Amen Thompson, 30. You don't need that. You don't need that. Not at game 18 of the season. Mind you, the Rockets have played the least amount of games all year. We don't need that many minutes on those guys right now. Let's move on to our final upset of the night. I'll just say this. Sort of like the Atlanta Hawk. I watched the end of this game. I watched the whole second half. Sort of like the the Pistons and Hawks game, if you just look at the box scores, you would be very surprised that the other team won, right? In the Pistons Hawks game, the Pistons had 23 turnovers. Also in that game, the Hawks made 9 more threes than the Pistons. Sort of like this game. If you just look at the box score, you'd be wondering what happened. The Bucks had 21 threes. So they had 8 less threes, right? They also had more free throws. This is like the rare statistic. If a team leads in free throws and threes, they're typically going to win. The Bucks were up 16, right? They're up 16. The Wizards were getting second chance opportunities. They were getting way more points in the paint, and the Bucks had 7 more turnovers, right? So then you can open up the box score. This is not going to happen again. Not anytime soon. He does this once every month. Kevin Porter Jr., 30 points, 12 for 15 shooting, on fire. Looked like a flamethrower last night, and they lost. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. 10 for 17, not as efficient night. Miles Turner looked horrible. I'm sorry, guys. Wow. I wanted Miles Turner on the Pistons like to be no. Wow. I was not expecting Miles Turner to be this bad. He literally turned the ball over in the game-winning play. Game on the line, and you turn it over. AJ Green doing more than he could. Ryan Rollins, not a good night. Gary Trent Jr., 14 points. That's the best you're going to get. Bobby Portis, 12 points. I don't know what's going on here, man. No. 10 for 17 for Giannis Antetokounmpo is not efficient. Not efficient for Giannis because he averages 72% from the field this season. So we're spoiled. We're spoiled with his efficiency. But then you look at the other side, and Chris Middleton revenge game. CJ McCollum buried him with that unbelievable shot at the end of the game. 22 points from Marvin Bagley. I mean, you're not winning this game if Tristan Vukovic and Cam Whitmore are dropping 16 and 17 off the bench with Justin Champagnie. I think this Wednesday the Bucks play the Pistons again. They do, and it's in Detroit as well. Giannis is back. We'll see if he plays. Listen, there's a reason why the Pistons have lost for I think 21 games in a row against the Bucks until last week when the Pistons beat him. Giannis wasn't playing. So Giannis should be playing, and we'll see what happens. Giannis always puts the Pistons in hell. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the Bucks, I don't really have much to say. They're out of the play-in right now. They'll be back. I'm not worried about it. But Giannis, please, man, you're about to be 31. Please I have a video of you coming out this Saturday. Please just, do what we all want. You're loyal. We love you. Please I'm sorry, Milwaukee. They can't get him help. I'd love for him to stay in Milwaukee, but I think it's time. He could make me eat my words a month from now when Ryan Hollins starts averaging 24 points a game with him on the floor. Guys, that is going to do it for today's episode. I know, I told y'all we weren't going to do another like true or false or factor cap or like up or down or any of that because there were a lot of games that I wanted to cover last night. And that's going to wrap her up. Ladies and gents, we are still live on Twitch. So if you guys would like to, come through, the link is in my bio on TikTok. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. And we will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Be sure to drop a follow so that you will tune in so you don't miss it. It's 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. We do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, man, it was a W episode. I got nothing left to say, y'all, except for be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio, Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, y'all, thank you for watching/listening. I will see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Appreciate y'all.